Farah Hannoun for MMA Junkie, and I'm joined by UFC Bantamweight Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sean, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you been spending your time during these lockdown and quarantine times?
I'm still able to train at least once a day. So really nothing changed too much. Just other than training a little bit less, but the quality of sessions I'm getting in are really good. So still improving, and not a lot's changed.
Have you had access to your gym?
Yeah, my buddy Tim owns his own gym, so shut down.
Okay, cool.
You got
And
that.
of course, UFC 249 was going to go ahead on April 18, and they had to pull the plug on that and all scheduled events, like suspend them indefinitely. What were your thoughts on the UFC trying to proceed with events and them having to pull the plug on everything?
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they're trying to get the fights going. I was obviously looking forward to them too. I would have liked to be on that card. I know, there was some good matchups on that card. So yeah, I was jacked that they were trying to go through with the fights, and I was bummed out when it got canceled.
So you actually wanted to be a part of that card? Did you let the UFC know?
Yeah, I did. I messaged Sean Shelby. He said they want me to fight in July in Vegas.
Oh, okay. Well, now with things quite like uncertain, and then they're talking about a fight island. What's your reaction, first of all, on Fight Island? Do you think it's feasible? You know, Dana said in about a month's time he plans on shipping fighters over there to train and potentially hold events there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was real. I would love to fight on Fight Island. I think that'd be awesome. But I think realistically, my next fight will probably be July, and it's gonna be in Vegas, and hopefully everything calms down a little bit. But yeah, definitely want to at least fight in July, whether it's on an island or in Vegas.
Okay, so regardless, you're not willing on jumping in on anything short notice because with these uncertain times, you've seen a lot of random matchups being put together just because certain guys aren't available due to travel ban restrictions or whatnot. So you're saying you wouldn't want to jump in on short notice if they were to try to put something together within the next month or so?
Probably not 4 weeks. 4 weeks would probably be enough. A month would probably be enough. Not shorter than that. I definitely want to have time to prepare. I think it's super important to prepare right, and I do a good job of preparing for fighting. So I think I'd need at least 4 weeks.
And would you be open to Fight Island even if July were to take place on Fight Island?
Oh yeah, I'd be if they said you're fighting in 5 weeks on Fight Island, I'd for sure be down.
Okay, cool. Let's revisit your last fight. Obviously, 2 years away from the octagon, you look better than ever. It's fair to say probably the best you've ever looked. Just tell me, you were super emotional after that. Obviously, you went through a lot in those 2 years, being forced to sit on the sidelines. But did it go as you expected, or better than you expected? What was that whole experience like?
Going into pretty much every fight, I kind of expect a first round knockout. It's just kind of my styles. That's just kind of how my whole career has been. I prepare for 15 minutes. I expect a first round knockout. I really thought I was going to knock him out in the first round. I knew my skill level was just way better than his. So I wasn't, I kind of expected that going into that fight. It was just standing there with Joe Rogan. I pictured that so many times, just walking my dogs or doing, outside, just kind of visualizing that moment, and it was just it was a powerful moment. It was cool.
And it's safe to say no ring. You didn't feel any ring rust or anything like that, right? I mean, it didn't look like it.
I think people experience ring rust if they're just not training and they're not. I didn't not train. I mean, I was still training as much as I possibly could in those 2 years. So I got. I mean, yeah, no ring rust.
You did such a phenomenal job in those 2 years on the sidelines of staying super relevant in the headlines. You did a great job of connecting with your fans on Twitch, with your vlogs, with your podcast. How important was that for you to kind of just stay sane? Because it honestly, like when you came back, it didn't feel like it had been 2 years because you've been in the headlines and we've been hearing about you. So you've done a pretty good job of keeping your name relevant.
Yeah, in those 2 years I had, I had a fight that I got pulled off like 10 days before. So, I had the hype built up for that fight. Then I got pulled. So then my name's still in the headlines because why did I get suspended? Because I failed the USADA test. So then I get booked for another fight in the headlines talking about my comeback. Then I fail another test. So my name was in the headlines because I had those 2 fights coming up. I had 2 suspensions. And it was just ridiculous. Like the whole situation was crazy. So it's just, I don't know. People like to talk about it, and yeah, we have our Tim and I have our podcast, and just staying up on YouTube and Twitch and all those things. It's weird. It was 2 years. Doesn't feel like it looking back, but yeah, I did a good job of just kind of staying relevant and trying to. The most important thing was just training. I was continuing to train. I was continuing to improve. So, all the other stuff was just extra.
Any ill will towards the whole USADA thing? I mean, it seems like a lot of people are still having issues with USADA, but are you past all of that?
Yeah, it could happen to anyone. Like I was so confused on how it happened. And then I get messages from other UFC fighters, other people that aren't even in the UFC, other athletes saying, "Dude, I just tested for Austrian, what I tested for, and I have no idea where it came from." So the problem's still there. It's still happening all over, men, women, all age groups. So it's still a problem. I don't. I think USADA is honestly trying to do their best to kind of figure out what's going on. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of USADA when it comes to keeping the sport clean.
And what do you project is next for you? I'm sure you know that every bantamweight has pretty much called you out, so you're not short of potential options. But do you have any opponent in mind or anyone you'd like to fight next?
No, it's nice. I just don't even really. I don't think about who I'm fighting next or any of that until we have to get a fight booked. Right now, I'm just improving. I'm not thinking, oh, because if I get a name in my head, and I'm like, okay, I'm fighting this guy. Now I kind of start thinking about fighting that guy, and then it changes because something happens. So it's like kind of a waste of time. So I'm just improving my skill right now. It doesn't matter who I'm fighting next. Once we're a couple months out, probably from the date, then we'll probably figure out who we're fighting next.
And you like having that target on your back with everybody calling you out? They were calling you out even when you were on the sidelines and couldn't fight. So do you like that, having that target on your back with everyone coming after you and wanting to fight you?
I don't necessarily like it or don't like it. I think that's just part of the position I'm in. Connor had the same thing. Everyone calling him out. But when you have 200 followers on Instagram and no one talks about you and you're getting paid 10 and 10 still, like it's their job to call out someone who's doing it right, someone has the eyeballs. So everyone that's calling me out is doing it for a reason. They don't know how to, they're trying to, they're doing what they need to do. But yeah, I don't mind it.
And moving forward, how do you see your career playing out? I mean, you're a guy that could easily be fast tracked just because of your name, what you bring to the cage, your fighting style, the way you're performing. I know you've only had 3 UFC fights, but would you like to be fast tracked? I mean, do you see a certain career path, top 10, top 5, fast shot? Things could be moving really fast for you. Do you want to be fast tracked, or how do you look at it?
I'm just going with the flow, just kind of whatever. It's hard to. I'm gonna go out there and perform in my next fight just as good as I performed last fight. So it's gonna be hard to not fight better guys each time. And I'm gonna go knock out the next 3 guys in a row. We'll probably get a title shot. So it's hard to say with injuries and now this whole situation going on. So it's hard to kind of guess when I'm gonna be champ or when I'm gonna. I don't know. I plan on fighting for the next 10 years, so I'm not really gonna hurry. Once you're champ, you're fighting the next best dude every single fight, and that takes a toll on you. So I'm not necessarily in a rush to get there, but I also know if I keep going out there and performing the way I'm going to, it's gonna happen.
And what do you make of the bantamweight division? It's changed quite a bit since you last fought before your turn. Obviously, Cejudo champion. He was supposed to fight Jose Aldo coming off of a loss, and now it looks like he's targeting Dominic Cruz, who's also coming off of a loss. What do you think of this kind of common theme? I mean, Israel Adesanya fought Yoel Romero, who's coming off of a loss. What do you think of this common theme of guys getting title shots off of losses?
Yeah, it's super weird. That Jose Aldo fight, I definitely thought he won against Marlon. And I know Dana, which is pretty cool. Dana's like, no, I thought he won that fight. I'm giving him a title shot. So it's pretty cool. Dana has that power, and it's his company. So that was pretty. I don't know. It is weird coming off a loss. Yoel, it's hard to deny him when he's Yoel. And you said Cruz is coming off a loss as well.
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah,
hasn't
he lost
fought
to
since
Cody, huh?
Cody Garbrandt. Yeah, 3 years
Yeah.
ago.
So yeah, that would be super weird if he gets the next title shot. Is that what they're talking about? So Henry.
That's what it seems like because of the travel ban restrictions and Jose not being able to leave Brazil. That's what they were going with before they had to pull the plug on everything. But I'm assuming with even with as things stand that Jose would still have an issue flying out of Brazil. So it looks like they're going with
Yeah.
Cruz.
I mean, Cruz deserves it in a sense. All the injuries he's had to deal with and how his career went. So I don't know. I wouldn't be upset with him getting it, but there's also guys like Sandhagen and Aljo that probably deserve it more coming off wins. Um, yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one.
And just what do you make of Henry Cejudo as a champion? And because you were talking about the promotional aspect of sport. I mean, obviously he's taking things to the next level with his cringe and everything. He's doing his own thing. But do you see where he's coming from? Because it's kind of working for him.
Is it working for him? I don't think it's really working for him. I think it's not. I would
I
consider,
mean, it's,
I would consider that working for him. I think he's definitely trying, but he's just trying too hard, and it's
okay.
it's just hard to watch. And that's I guess the way they're going for is the cringe, but I think he could have took that a different route. Maybe I don't know. It would be weird just trying to pull. I don't know. I think as a champ though, he's beat some really 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 good dudes. um, yeah, he's really good, but he's a cringy dude.
Yeah, there's no denying that. I'm sure he knows that as well. And
Yeah.
you returned in March, and it seemed like right before all this madness happened. So I was just thinking, like, just imagine if you were booked on UFC 249, what you would have been going through right now. And even if it was the Brasilia card, I mean, no crowd for you to be away from the sport for two years. You're a guy that feeds off the crowd. You're a super popular fighter. So I was just imagining, like, did that run through your mind, like if you were booked on the 249 card and you had to wait again?
Yeah, I would probably be dealing with a little bit of anxiety and depression just thinking about how it worked out perfect that I got a fight on that card. Fighting with no crowd though doesn't seem like it. I don't think it really bothered me. That's the Contender Series was kind of
Yeah.
like that. It didn't really bother me too much. Just knowing I'm performing in front of people at home, that's all the that would be all the energy I need from that. But yeah, if I didn't get a fight on that card because of this, I would have thought maybe fighting's maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't be fighting. But um, no, I was lucky enough to be able to get it because I remember Dana in the back talking about how just don't touch anyone's hands. Everything's shutting down in Vegas. No one's doing it. So yeah, I was glad that. Oh, that would have sucked. That would have been bad. That would have been bad.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And a couple more before I let you go, and I appreciate the time. It was announced today. I don't know if you heard, like WWE was like deemed an essential business in Florida, and it seems like they can resume with the live shows in Florida. I don't know if you've heard that, so I can only imagine that the UFC is going to be jumping all over that with the possibility of having live events in Florida. So it was a rumor in the before, like they ended up with Tachi Palace that they were going to consider Florida. So yeah, just if you have a reaction to that, and if you think that maybe with the WWE like resuming with their live events, that maybe we could see an event in Florida.
Did you say WWE was essential?
Not me. They deemed it as essential business.
That's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't hear that this morning. No, that'd be cool if we can get some fights going. I know a lot of I'm not a huge fan of the fights. I'm definitely a fight fan. Like, and I say that because I know, like, I've played Xbox and I stream and play video games with people who are real fans of the UFC who know every fighter, every card coming up, top to bottom. Like those guys are the real fans. So I would consider myself a hardcore fan. But I'd definitely like to see some fights. It's been a while, so that'd be cool if they could get some in Florida. But I'd probably wait for July, in Vegas if it's not on Fight Island.
And percentage-wise, how confident are you that things will resume back to normal and we're going to have an international fight week in Vegas in July?
I have no idea. I literally don't pay attention to the news or anything. I train, I game, I chill. Um, so I don't know how bad it is, if it's getting better, if it's getting worse. I'm just doing I'm washing my hands everywhere I go and training but I don't see. I don't know. We'll see. It's hard to say when you don't really know too much information about it. But I'm really hoping we can fight in July. Craving to fight again.
Absolutely. Well, Sean, I really appreciate you taking the time. Welcome back. You looked
Thank
absolutely
you.
flawless in that 2.0 version. I see you going around with that, and I would agree.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
hopefully things resume back to normal in July, and we can see you on that card.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.